Right, now this will tell us. And that's pretty conclusive. Still going. Close. I think he got it down.
How strong is he?
Hello, folks, and welcome to the Pick and Go Rugby podcast. My name is not Paul Moate. I am Karl Tiley. I have been chosen from the back seat of the benches to run the cutter here today, and it's a true dream. I've got an All Black and Piri Weepu inside me and an All Black outside me, Jeff Wilson. This is going to be a great show, fellas. Piri, how are you, mate?
Good. Not too bad at all. I didn't have a awesome trip like you guys did, but nonetheless, I had a pretty good weekend.
Nice. And Jeff, how was your weekend?
Well, it was great. A couple of games of rugby. Managed to fit in a game of golf with Anton Oliver and Jeremy Stanley, which was pretty cool. In between which is not too bad. I've had a great weekend. And it's going to be even better when the Highlanders get up this weekend.
Oh, we will get to that very short.
The Hurricanes, I know we'll get to that, but I'm starting early on the pod. Just seeding that in there, just letting it grow as we get to the end of it, and see if Piri can convince me otherwise, which I'm sure he will.
Did you win golf?
Yeah, actually I did. Anton and I was actually playing with the club champ with us as well up north at Te Aroai, and we come home in the last to win on the 18th, which was really satisfying. Really satisfying. And then I went to work and watched Moana pull out an absolute blinder against the Hurricanes. So I had a great day. It was great to watch. It was nice to make the odd birdie or two here or there and come away with a W.
Mm-hmm. He's just jabbed you twice about the Hurricanes in the opening.
I'm just coming in because I got a feeling I'll be on the ropes later on.
In preparation for this podcast, I listened back to a couple of episodes just so I don't, completely drop the ball, because I had a tendency to do that when I was playing. And what I did notice is the opening 5 or 10 minutes it's a golf podcast.
That's only because Paulie went down to Christchurch and played in 4 bloody golf courses with half of Wainui, and I knew all of them. And I was like, wow, how did I not get this invite? And you did.
Yeah, it's good.
To be fair, I had a week at the New Zealand Open as well. So it might as well be a golf podcast.
How did you go?
Yeah, we can move on from that really quickly. Really quickly. I put it this way. I had like 20 odd meaningless pars, because that's not the sort of tournament it is. So a lot of tap-ins that mean absolutely nothing to getting yourself up the scoreboard. To be fair, the Pro-Am, over 4 rounds, you know what won? 44 under for 4 rounds with their pro. 44 under. There was 3 teams tied on 44 under. So on my 2 handicap at the tournament, I would have had to play like 35 under to even have a shot at making the final day.
That's crook.
Look, there was no doubt conditions were perfect, but there was some seriously low scoring. Low scoring from the amateurs. The pros played really well, I must admit. It was a great tournament. Great story as well for the winner. So, it was pretty cool.
We've got our annual boys trip. We're heading down to Queenstown in a couple of weeks. So hopefully the course is still in pretty good nick.
Mate, it was amazing. Fantastic.
Very nice. All right, let's get into some rugby.
Is that the reason we're actually here?
Rugby podcast. Oh, I'm happy to talk golf if you guys want to. Like, I'm good with that. But I don't think the bosses will enjoy that. Paul's given me a run sheet. I'm going to try and stick to it. I probably won't. But the opening question he did give all of us, with 4 rounds done, who is the one player who has performed above pre-season expectations? Piri, I'll throw to you first.
I'm going to go with Alai Malu from Moana Pacifica. I thought, just watching from their first round to the hurdle on Saturday, on the weekend, I think he's just sort of, been a bit of a gem for Moana, especially on that right edge. So, yeah, he's my pick after 4 rounds so far. Mind you, I don't really watch too many other teams unless it's New Zealand teams and their grudge matches. So, yeah, you won't catch me watching any of the Aussie teams, so I won't pick any of them.
Shout out.
Because that's why I've done it for you, Piri, then. I've done it for you because I do watch the other games, and it's Ben Donaldson for the Force. First 5 for the Force made that fantastic try against Moana Pacifica in round 1. And they've been competitive, the Force, the way they've played this year. You go and beat the Brumbies in Canberra. That's a great result. Look, they weren't as good on the weekend, but for them to be competitive early, to be where we are in the competition, you need guys in pivotal positions to step up, right, across all the teams. And if you go across all the teams, the one position that for a lot of sides is really unsettled is the 10 jersey, or they're really young. So to have an experienced player like him playing the way he's playing, and the Force at home with their expanded squad, they're just going to give teams a lot of problems. So for me, I'm going to go outside of New Zealand because at the moment, I look at a lot of the players around New Zealand. I think there's not anyone. Everyone at the moment is playing a little bit to form. There's some guys, some big name players who'd like to play a little bit better, but there's no one new. I think that's standing out to me in the New Zealand teams. But in terms of Australian guys, I think Donaldson's doing a great job.
Well, I said to you boys off air that I haven't watched a lot of rugby in the last couple of years. So I'm going to bring it back to New Zealand, and what I have seen this year, there'll be no surprises that I'm going to the Highlanders here, but Tavatava Nawai playing the way he's playing for the Highlanders is outstanding. And if he is, the Highlanders have only played 3 games. If he's not in the conversation for the All Blacks, if his form continues, what are we even doing here?
Yeah, you're right. I think the important part about when you start talking about these conversations, like I say, it's time, right? And the time is it's been a month, and the sun is on everyone's backs. It's beautiful. It's hard and fast. But the thing, he's not doing anything he hasn't done for a few years now. Like he did it for Moana Pacifica. He's come down to the Highlanders, and he's doing it again for them the second year. Like this guy's a talent, and I think the switch to the midfield pity has been the key to this. I mean, he was good at all of the things he was doing on the wing, but ultimately, I don't think you'd ever see him as an All Black winger. Like, in terms of not enough natural and fast speed, right? You move his skill set into 12, and we're seeing a lot of things that we love about that position, and his creativity, with the fact it's not just going straight forward, it's got footwork, he's got a little bit of instinctiveness about him. You get the feeling there's an offload game clearly in his work over the ball. But in terms of that conversation staying alive, right, like you said, it needs to last another couple of months. And a lot of that's going to be down to how the Highlanders stay competitive, if they can hang together pretty, right? But on the surface, without a doubt, he's a guy that you'd love to see get an opportunity maybe at the next level, if he's playing at this standard for the rest of the season.
Yeah, 100%. Especially on, I think it was the game against Moana. There was a huge battle between him and Artie, and especially around the breakdown area. I think in one phase, Artie had stolen the ball, and then
He stole it back.
Yeah, exactly. And it's almost like he's their the fourth bloody loose forward out there, and like Goldie said, probably because he's a bit closer to the ball now. It's not waiting for it to get out to him. He's probably the one holding the ball more than anything, so that the wingers don't get the opportunity. But I mean, when you've got him getting you over the advantage line every time, it creates opportunities for the boys out on the edges, which is what you want. You want someone that can break the defence, just so that the boys get the opportunities on those edges. And he's been huge in that area.
Can I ask Piri a question then? So the incumbent is Geordie Barrett, right? Who's not even playing in this competition, but is going to come back and have, the time he's had in the jersey before, that's the loyalty the All Black coaches have, right? And then you start looking at Anton Leonard-Brown, and he's the guy that's been the next cab off the rank. Anytime they've needed someone, then you get a Quinn Tupaia and you've got a David Havili, who are, I think, actually playing really, really well for the Crusaders. I was talking on the show the other night, and the 1-2 punch with him and Will Jordan. I mean, David Havili's essentially playing 10-12. Like he's making most of the decisions and doing a lot of the work in the playmaking role as well as carrying the ball going forward. But for Timothy Tavatava Nawai then, Piri, there's a lot of comparisons to a Manonu. That's been thrown out there, right? How does he, I suppose, get an opportunity over an incumbent? What more could he do into his game to convince the selectors, okay, I'm going to select him over Anton Leonard-Brown or Geordie Barrett, because they've got time in the black jersey, which is proven.
I think he's his skill set's totally different to what Geordie's got. He's obviously good at passing. He's got a kicking element to him. I know Tavanawa is still working on a few things, but I think if he was to be similar to Mata when he first started out, he was just smash and bash. Don't want to bloody pass the ball and things like that.
He's a bad man.
Yeah, but from his throughout the years, especially in the middle to the back end of his career, he actually worked on his craft and totally changed his skill set and the way that he sort of developed throughout his career. And still playing, actually.
That's nice.
About to go to France in a day or two.
Still a bad man.
Yeah, exactly. But I think there's just a couple elements that he needs to work on to be able to be caught upon by the big teams, and then when he does get his opportunity, he's got to make the most of it, just to prove that it's not just Super Rugby he's good at. He's actually going to be quite handy in the international era.
I think you can make an argument that it's, yes, different skill sets, him, Geordie, on paper, different players. It's probably, for me, though, the Highlanders season could be the difference on whether he gets a crack or not. And if they make the top 4, then on the back of, presumably it's on the back of him.
I love you talking top 4. I was thinking top 6 is quite nice. Playoffs in this competition would be, you look at the table, Katie, the playoffs is, and it's going to change. You could win 2 games in the next 2 weeks, and you could go from last to 4th. That's the nature of this competition. But I think it will. Same for a Fabian Holland. There's guys that who are going to rely heavily. Ethan de Groot will be another one. I mean, I think every team relies on having a little bit of positive form. So at the moment, if you're living in the region of Auckland right now, you'd like your form to improve. Because if you want to be an easier part of that conversation, the Blues would like their All Blacks and their team to be performing a lot better.
It's one of the great setups for one of the great segues to go straight into.
I was trying to help you out there, man. I was just trying to give you a chance to move on in case you got stuck.
I can host. I can host.
I know you've got it, bro. I'm just helping you out here.
It's everything else.
You out. I've been in that seat before.
Blues 20, Brumbies 21. First time the Brumbies have beaten the Blues at Eden Park in 12 years. They were down 20-10 at halftime, rallied back to win in the last minute. Your take on this game, Piri?
Well, we did talk about this being a good opportunity for the Brumbies to come back after their result the week before. But in saying that, they were competitive against the Chiefs the week before, right up until half-time, and that's where they sort of let themselves down. And we talked about that they would definitely push the Blues. I know the Blues haven't been playing like they did last year. I think they've been getting bashed around a bit, been bullied quite a bit. And I thought that they tried to step it up a bit, but then Brumbies come back in that second half. I think they were huge from, I guess, just before the end of half time. They started getting their game plan sorted, and then come into the second half. I thought that they done exactly what they were supposed to do, executed it pretty well, and then held on to the end. It was a good game to watch, actually. I think the beauty of the competition at the moment is you don't actually know who's going to win, because everything's so close. Like the last couple of weeks, there's been last minute tries to seal the team on the 80th minute or 79th minute. So it's been, I'm pretty sure everyone that supports their franchises are having heart attacks, just like 2011.
That was going to be my my opening question. I was going to throw polls out the window and just say, is Super Rugby back? Like, some of the games I've seen so far are incredible.
If you go back, though, historically, this time of the year, you get this. Daylight saving will kick in, all of a sudden it'll get a bit colder. We know what's going to happen in a couple of months in Auckland. It's going to rain game-wide. It just does. I mean, but it happens in Wellington. It happens everywhere. The only place that's safe is Dunedin. But even then it gets cold. So things will tighten up. And that game on Friday night was actually at Eden Park was a bit of an indication of that, right? All of a sudden you had a team that was playing well, loses its key playmaker in Beauden Barrett, the Blues, and then second half actually looked a little bit like they looked in Dunedin when they had a two-man advantage. They just didn't know the way that they wanted to play and the strategy they wanted to use. And Stephen Larkham read the riot act at halftime, missed his coach's interview as a result for Sky. He missed his interview because he said he had to go and take a few deep breaths after he's ripped his team out. It was good enough to come on during the second half. But ultimately what happened was the Blues played right into the Brumbies' hand. They'd just been given a riot act about their defence. And so the Blues had lost their key pivot, key playmaker, decided we're going to go straight through the middle, but we're going to send 10 people in a narrow channel. And the Brumbies were up for it. They literally were up for it. And they decided, well, we're going to tackle. We're just going to tackle and keep hitting you, and we'll put pressure on you. And all the things the Blues had used in the last year to win a title, scrumming for scrum penalties, defence was so tight you made mistakes or gave away penalties, they'd get territory, then they'd bash you in and you'd give up points. Teams haven't fallen for that. When I say fallen, I don't think the Blues have been elevated to the level they were last year. They don't look as motivated. I'll say that. I don't doubt they're trying, but they don't look as, you're talking 2 or 3% off here in terms of that want and willingness to dominate physically. Piri, that's like, and when you're in a team and you watch them, they're not having their dominance. So ultimately, they let another game just disappear with a bad 40 minutes. On the flip side of it, there's 3 games that they could have won with a little bit of application, and they're playing averagely. So that's the balance for them, is that they can find a bit of inspiration. I'm not sure where it comes from this weekend without Bowden Barrett and a team that's obviously low on a bit of confidence. I think they'll get Dalton Papali'i back, which will be helpful. I think a true 7, but they've got to find some solutions pretty quickly if they want to give themselves any chance of controlling their destiny at the back end of this competition.
Well, not that I've won anything ever in my life, but they say it's the hardest thing to do is back up after winning, getting up to that level again. So, like you say, it'd be interesting to see. And they go, one of the bright spots for the Blues, Rieko Ioane scored his 50th Super Rugby try, his first in a year and a half, which is absolutely wild. Led me on a little down a little rabbit hole in terms of try scorers, and I'm going to throw some stuff at you fellas. So he becomes, he's 6, with 50 tries, he's now 6 short of Matanonu, Brian Habana, Sterling Mortlock, and Cully, all on 56, who are tied 8th all time. Jeff, do you know how many Super Rugby tries you scored?
No. That's not even, I wouldn't even have a clue. Not even a single. I have to get a range of 10, maybe 35 to 40. Is it somewhere around there? 45?
He knows exactly how many.
No, I don't know.
35.
So look, that's a straight out guess. It's a straight out guess. The interesting part about Rico's one is, though, the moment he's moved to centre, it's a completely different game. In terms of try scoring, right? You take Mark Talia's tries, and he's got another 15 or 20. So, the record's determined by position with Rieko. It was nice to see him dot down. It feels like it's been an age. He's probably one player. I don't know, Piri, what you think, but he's probably one player that's under as much pressure as anybody in 2025 around his role, what his role will look like for the next level. But he's got a job to do for the Blues right now as well.
You were 35 the Highlanders, your 3rd all time. Do you know how many you had? Your most in one season, biggest haul in one season?
No, see, I'm guessing on all of this. So I've got to say a ridiculous number in case people will think that I actually know. I don't know. In a season?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 10, 11, doesn't it? Something like that.
10.
Yeah, well, you should. I go by it. You should know a little bit. I imagine what year was that?
Go on, 3 for 3.
97?
Oh, 98.
98, I tucked and win a bit more that year. The thing being, though, I was actually playing fullback. I think I was playing fullback at the time, not playing on the wing. So those poor wingers, they'll be pissed off. No, I wasn't on. Sorry, no, you weren't open.
I tried to dig into your...
I didn't have many.
Well, maybe that's why I couldn't find any.
Exactly. I definitely was in double digits throughout my whole career.
Shout out to the Hurricanes website development team. You need to be better. There was absolutely nothing on the website about try scorers and try scoring stats. But I fell into a pity rabbit hole and I got onto the Haka. This has got nothing to do with what we're talking about, but because I found it, I'm going to bring it up. You played 71 tests for the ABs. Do you know how many times you led the Haka?
Oh.
This is a good trivia question, this.
I think it's about 5, 6, maybe 50.
You guys know your shit. 51.
Oh, awesome, bro. That's some quick maths you've done there. So hold on. So did you go? Do you know how many games you started?
It'll be about close to 30.
Yeah. Okay. So that's awesome. That's awesome to know. It's 50, close to 51. That's cool.
Do you know how many of those 51 games? Do you know how many resulted in a loss?
That I couldn't tell you.
Only 4.
Oh yeah, it's nice.
So strong. You were when you led Kamate, you were 26 from 26. And Kapa o Pongo, 25 times for 25 wins.
Oh, there you go.
Jeez.
How many times did you lead the Haka, Jeff?
I don't know if I ever did a Haka that was memorable. Hiding back left, gave it everything I had, but I think the opposition used me as a foil, as if just watch that guy, because that's not really,
That's not really,
yeah.
It's not really challenging with Syracuse right now.
But the good thing about being from Invercargill and of the fairer complexion is it looks as though, because I'm red ass across everything I've given and everything I've got, just handprints on my legs, arms, I took more hits in the Haka than I did actually in the game.
Oh, very good. All right. Drua 28, Chiefs 24. Another upset of the week. The Drua now, before we get into this game, only have the Blues, Highlanders, Brumbies left on their hit list to complete the full set of Super Rugby teams. Your take on this game, Jeff?
Every team, I reckon, you go through every season, one injury away from not being the same, having the same profile. That's the Chiefs without Damien McKenzie. So it'll be the Blues without Beauden Barrett now. You'll go through every team and you go, if they don't have that guy, it'll affect how they play. And it really affected their game management in the conditions, because the conditions were nasty. And Armstrong Ravula, the 10 for the Drua, did a great job. He recognised how to play in those conditions. I mean, with a lot of rain, and all of a sudden it was hard to play. There was some individual pieces of brilliance that we expect from the Drua. They are really hard to beat in Fiji. As simple as that. So you combine all the factors going in. Yes, it's an upset, but by the same token, I'm not surprised, because these results are. They've done it to the Crusaders, in Fiji. They've done it to good teams. They've been right on the fight in every game. The way they play, look, they probably should have beaten the Hurricanes. Probably should have beaten the Brumbies. They quite easily be 3-1 right now. So I think they're a different team. So I'm just, I think for me, not a surprise, but just that reminder for me that every team has someone you can't afford to not be around, and Damien McKenzie's that guy.
Anything to add on this game, Piri?
No. Well, if the conditions are probably one of the biggest ones. Like over here, we're pretty. It's sunny. You're not getting wet tracks at all, and so they should have catered to the conditions and played, smart rugby. Maybe I don't know whether that's Jacko and his time as a first 5'8", talking to his game drivers and making sure that they play down the right end of the field. But they run around like that. That ball doesn't have soap on it.
Yeah,
that try from Longane Masi.
Oh,
that's got to make you pretty happy. That's
awesome.
Run around like that, scooping ball up and things like that. You don't try that here, boys will be like, can we play when it's dry, please?
It's funny because wet and humid is such an unusual combination for Kiwis. Like wet and humid, we don't get that. Even you get that quite often in Queensland, right? When you're playing there up in Brisbane, and so playing those conditions where it is going to be testing physically, and then it's going to be testing skill-wise. It's really, really challenging for any team that goes there. So I think you've always got to factor that in. That wet and humid is, you're sapped of energy, but there's quite a lot of energy required because a lot of turnovers happen. There'll be a lot of set piece, all those sorts of things, and then the ball and play, like you say, and Fijian players love that. They just keep going, and the moment you present a little opportunity, they are off and they are gone. And so, I don't think the Chiefs will be the first team that falls foul of the Drua and Fiji this season.
Yep, I agree.
Nick, bring on the rain.
Bring on the rain. Next one, Moana Pacifica 40, Hurricanes 31. It was all over after Moana Pacifica scored 28 unanswered points, Piri.
Yeah.
Let's just sit back, KT, and just see what he comes up with.
We spoke about it last week before the game on Tuesday about, it was actually Wednesday.
Because Paul got the days wrong.
Yes, exactly. How huge this game would be for not only Ari, but the bus, Tana. There's a few boys in that squad that are Wellington-based that never got an opportunity with the Hurricanes that are definitely good enough to be there. So it meant a lot. And I think that now that they've got a home, they can actually start creating more of a community. And watching after their first home game, how awesome the crowd was, only for it to back up the last on the weekend is huge. It shows that not just the signing of Ardi is a big draw. There's actually going to be a few of I reckon some of the other boys will be pretty keen to jump ship and join Moana Pacifica. You never know. Richie's meant to be coming home soon, so
okay, you heard it here first.
Hopefully,
mate, I hope they've got deep pockets then. I'm pretty sure you need some pretty deep pockets for that one. But it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me, Piri. I think you're right. I think there'll be other players who might not necessarily be in the All Blacks, but who are back end of careers at All Blacks, maybe, or who are going or thinking about how they finish off. And that's the danger, though, for Moana Pacifica is that, I think you can't get caught up in that too much, of the fact that getting someone at the back end of their career and going, what is that really going to help us? Whereas Artie's still well and truly in great form. Like, he's been playing outstanding rugby. I think the most important thing is they won this game without him. Like, the second 40, like when he went off, they took responsibility, the guys that are on there. And Patrick Pellegrini was massive in this at first five. Like huge. I mean, I talk about the position I've mentioned already in the podcast. You need someone who can play with confidence and understanding about how they're trying to want to play. But they kept playing. That was the key. Is that in the second half, it would have been easy to try to shut it down, or you get a few. They just kept trying to pile on. They kept piling on, and they needed it because the Hurricanes in the last 15 started firing at them. Hurricanes made a couple of decisions I can't understand. Not starting Tupasi Karefi or Cam Roigard. You can't take them. There was never a world you should have been taking. I don't know if they're taking it lightly, whether or not this is trying to rotate and rest players, but Roigard came off the bench in the first game of the season, so I don't, for me, he should have been out there and needed to be out there in this game. This, for the Hurricanes, look, they had to come back against the Drua to win that, otherwise they'd be winless. And for me, they're not playing the right sort of rugby right now. And I did see Brett Cameron running around, running the water. I don't know his status with it. I think he might be out for the full season, which would be tragic for them. But they've got to find a way to get their game together. Ruben Love, first game back. He was energetic like he always is. Sort of looked dangerous and a threat. But Moana's defence was stout and shut him down. And there was a lot of aimless kicking in this game. Hurricanes, to me, though, a bit like the Blues, don't look as though they know how they're going to try and create space. Hurricanes are the squad for me. I've got probably of all the New Zealand teams right now, I've got some. I know the Blues are languishing as well, but I think the Hurricanes are the ones I'm most concerned about them finding their game, Piri.
I think the game. I think it's like they pick and choose when they want to play entertaining footy. Like they're definitely capable of it, but it's just I feel like in the close battles and things like that, they don't actually trust that they can still play footy. I feel like they go back to old school, tuck it under the old wing and carry and try and, break the defence when they're not actually creating much to break the defence. And I've seen it in the first couple of rounds. I've actually done like some good moves with their pod shape, moving the ball away a bit more, but it's not consistent for the full 80 minutes. Like there's watching on the weekend, like there was opportunities that they could have gone back door, shifted one extra person, and they would have been in the open pastures, but they don't give that extra pass, which gives it to the guys that have got those opportunities. And I think sometimes when they feel under pressure, they're not quite functioning and they get a bit scared and just want to stick to the basics. Maybe they've been told we need to make sure we stick to the basics, carry clean, get it away as quick as possible. But when you got someone around the ball, disrupting it, slowing everything down, you've got to be a bit more creative than just doing the same sort of thing, coming around the corner and smash and bash, thinking that it's going to happen again. Like if you want quick ball, you've got to create quick ball. You've got to get rid of the threats, get rid of the ball, so that the teams are actually going backwards on defence. And then by the time they realise it, you're already over the advantage line playing footy. And I think that's what sort of happened on the weekend. They created some great opportunities, and then that's it. They didn't continue doing what had been working for them. They just tucked it under the wing and thought that they could just, bully Moana. I'm like, come on.
And that's a dumb idea because they want to tackle. They want you to run straight at them. That's what they're looking for. Don't move us around. Don't take us to the edges. Don't make us chase you. Come run at us because I'll stand up and tackle all day. And you're right. And this is what the Blues did as well on the weekend. Same thing. Then all of a sudden they weren't pulling the trigger. You talk about this catchphrase, pull the trigger. Well, that's their second pass. That's their second transfer, which allows you to get it to space. The only team that's prepared to do it at the moment are the New Zealand teams. The Highlanders is certainly one, but even them not as much as the Crusaders. The Crusaders are constant and making some errors as a result of it, but scoring some long-range tries because they're prepared to pull the trigger and trust their skill sets, And so you're right. The Hurricanes, you can see it, but then you go you can see the space, and it's easy from where we're talking when you watch it, right? But you need to communicate that out there, and I think that's one thing. If there's one area I think Ruben Love needs to work on, that'll be it. Is the fact that from the back you can make that decision, feed that information in, let them know when it's time to go. It's time to throw the release balls, to throw one more. I think he was just so keen to get his hands on the ball and run. I think he wasn't helping them in terms of actual find the space to attack into and then support that. Because I think that's the difference. If you compare him and Will Jordan, you watch Will Jordan play, his strategic understanding of how to get himself into position, when it's time to run, when it's time to pass, that's what a world-class fullback does, and that's the balance for Ruben Love right now. He needs to really connect with whether it's Godfrey at 10, whoever it might be, and go, you know what, we've got to be in sync and where the space is.
Alrighty. Hurricanes on blast. Crusaders 43, Reds 19. 29-7 at half time. I was watching this and the Crusaders were doing Crusaders things, and then for a little period there before half time, it looked like the Reds were going to come back, and then the Crusaders just did Crusaders things and completely blew them away. So keen to hear you guys, your thoughts on this game, Piri.
I'm just glad round 4 competition, they're going to be, not round 5, but round 4. Last year, I think they were 0-4.
DFL.
And like they've obviously done some a lot of hard work in the preseason, and they've worked away on their game. Obviously, leaking a bit of points, but still, they've come back with a vengeance from last year. Worked on everything around their game plan, their structures, key players in key positions, and just making sure they tick the boxes. Tell you who's been impressive is Karl Preston. Coming from here, gone down south, didn't get an opportunity here, and he's gone down there, and I've talked him up around, especially his Bronco at the start of in the preseason, and got his one opportunity and hasn't looked back, and he's been awesome. Got a hat trick on his debut, and I never got a hat trick anyway. Whenever I played,
I had one in my career.
well, never ever in my life, and maybe when I was a kid. That's as good as it got. But Karl's been awesome. He's obviously, been given that one opportunity, and he hasn't looked back since. He's been playing some impressive footy, and part of that, is understanding his role within the team, running the right angles, and getting rid of the ball as quick as he can, which is exactly what he's been doing. So allow their players to express themselves, throw their back doors, shift it to the edges, and then obviously they've got a few trick plays up their sleeves that they've been working with. And I mean, he's just been backing up the middle, hoping for a few meat pies himself.
Jeff?
Being well prepared. I think so. The word out of him is the fact that he just does his work. He makes sure he does everything he possibly can in terms of his preparation. You watch that really clear how he wants to play. Width of his pass is the one thing I really like when they are using their forwards. I think if we're guilty, if we are trying to carry and get over the advantage line, that was one of Aaron Smith's great strengths, was his ability to just get a little bit wider. I think the Crusaders are trying to do that a little bit, but to me, it's little things, Piri. It's the fact that his box kick's it's a contestable box kick. It's constant. He's getting those little things right, like the fundamentals of playing the position. It's his kicking game, it's his passing game, and the fact that he runs great support lines. And he's obviously really well conditioned. Now, you do those things well, you look like a good rugby player at halfback. You just do. That to me clears the ball well. I don't know. This is a really difficult position to play, but if you do things simply like that, Piri, you look like a really good player. And he's got a forward pack that's actually giving them some nice sort of go forward, but more, I think, strategy around, like I said earlier, David Havili and Will Jordan. So to me, he knows the guys he's having to connect to. Taha Kemara, who's actually the first five, he sort of just sits in the background, and he does some of the other little things, but he's not driving the ship. So don't underestimate this performance, because the Reds are a really good rugby team. I think they're a really good squad. And actually, if you watch them play, they're not afraid to pull the trigger. They did some really, even though they scored 3 tries, I think the Crusaders probably stopped them scoring 3 or 4 others that other teams wouldn't have stopped. They made some really nice offloads. Doing a lot of stuff, Piri, with their forwards, transfers just after contact. If you overcommit on the outside, they're then running good support lines and punching through. So Reds, I think, that's a really good scalp. And if they got the Force this week, the Crusaders, at home again, I would expect them, and I know this is, I would expect them to win that game, and they'll go into a situation where, they're 3-1 after 4 games, and got to be really happy about where their season sits right now, and the way they look, and the difference being, they've got some health. They didn't have that last year. They didn't have Will Jordan. David Havili missed a lot. Cody Taylor hadn't returned by this point. Tamati Williams tore his hamstring in the first game. Scott Barrett wasn't around. This is a completely different looking team in 2025.
Yeah. And that number 9 jersey for the Crusaders, a bit like the number 10, is one that, traditionally has been, kind of up there on a pedestal in terms of elite level players and All Blacks and stuff. So it's good, really good to see him going well. Alrighty, fellas. Second question from Mr. Moati.
So we're at number 2. Question number 2.
Yeah. He's broken it up. We go question, review, question, preview. But I think
big off-season signing. Oof.
Big off-season, that's it. Ardie Savea was the big off-season signing this year, or last year. Who's going to be for next season? I'll be honest, I didn't do the homework.
Well, look, I mean, has Richie Mo'unga said he's not coming back yet?
No, I think
he said that?
Didn't he say he was going to see the season out and then...
I mean, let's be honest. If he came back to New Zealand, that's the big off-season signing.
Yeah.
That changes the landscape. I think there's a lot of big decisions here around, there's a number of guys that'll, at the end of the season will be off contract, and how critical those guys might be and what their future might look like. But he'd be the big one, right? If this, you're talking, it wouldn't be anything bigger than that.
Does Geordie Barrett count? Or is he
No,
He'll be back again next year.
He's on a sabbatical anyway, so it's not really a...
No.
I mean, the thing being is that, and I don't know the status, but, Patrick Tuipulotu, I think he's re-signed with the Blues, but if he wasn't, if he was to think about maybe going to Moana Pacifica, going, you know what, I might go and want to go and help them. I don't know if that would happen. I can't see that happening. It seems to be, Blues through and through. But I think that, see a lot of movement now, right?
No.
With players. So, I can't see anywhere else. Is there a game changer, if you were talking, Piri, around New Zealand in particular, that would a player moving? The biggest signing and transfer we had was, before Artie, was Beauden Barrett going to Auckland, right? Leaving the Hurricanes and going to the Blues. And that was massive at the time. I don't really remember there being another sort of big shift, which has changed the landscape for any team,
Bit of chat recently, a few whispers around Kalen Ponga to the Hurricanes. Unlikely now that Dylan Brown's just signed a monster deal to go to the Knights, but that would be a pretty big signing.
It'd be massive. I mean, are we in that situation where we need someone? I don't know. And let's be honest, have we got the money?
That was
because you're talking big dosh.
Well, he's on 1.3 a year at the Knights, I think.
That'd probably be a no.
Yeah.
Because
potentially.
Yeah, potentially, I don't know. There's a lot of water to go under the bridge, but yeah, I think it's going to be hard to find something that's an absolute game changer. What would the one we would like to see? I wouldn't say this. I'll say this though. I wouldn't mind if one of the Blues first fives. I know Harry Plummer's leaving. My Blues friends wouldn't like me to say this, but if Stephen Perifetta, went to play and start at 10 somewhere else, that would be a significant move. If they say Azan Sullivan, for example, whose game, unless he gets to play pretty right,
yeah.
Like I know he's injured right now, but if he's not going to get to play, how does he get better?
Yeah.
So, do you if I put a Highlanders hat on and go, could he help them down there, or could he help the Hurricanes, or I think to me could he go down and start at fullback for the Chiefs, for example? Sean Stevenson's going to Japan. I think for a lot of these young guys, there's some guys I think who've been waiting in the wings, I'd like to see play. How does a Shea Clark get better if he's not out? He's an incredible talent. I'll tell you who I played golf with yesterday at a Blues alumni tournament was Rico Simpson. She's a talented young kid, under 20s kid. He's got an under 20s tournament next week for the Blues. Looking forward to seeing when he gets his opportunity. They've actually got some pretty good depth up here at the Blues, so I'll be interested to see how they sort of manage that.
Maybe Frizzell.
Actually, that's a great one.
Because he's in Japan. I know he's in Japan at the moment. I was just trying to think of boys that could potentially come back.
Yeah.
No, I think he might be. That's a really good shout. But with no doubt he'd probably go back to the Highlanders.
Surely.
Shannon, listening, please.
Don't have the poll. Surely.
Cuzzy, brother.
Come on. We're going to be a playoff team in 2025. You can just slip right in.
Top four.
Not just a playoff team, a top four team.
Top four.
Top four.
Have you guys seen the ladder? You've seen where the Highlanders are? Unbelievable scenes.
You better take screenshots of it now.
All right, don't worry, bro. I have.
Don't you worry.
All right, that's another great segue. Let's go into this week's games. First up, Highlanders, $1.80. Hurricanes, $1.95. When I put this sheet together last night, the Highlanders were $2.20 outsiders.
Same.
$1.62.
That's what I looked at.
And I thought, what's changed? Maybe the fact the bookies have cottoned on that the Hurricanes are stink.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Sorry,
No.
I had a shot. I had to take it.
Firing the shot. There it is.
Firing. That's a shot fired. But come on, Piri, what have we got then?
Well, this could be the Hurricanes, if they get it right this week, they could actually go down there and get the job done. Highlanders have been away. They've had the bye. Sometimes a bye is not really good for anyone. So this is our opportunity to get the dub this week.
He's clutching at straws here.
I know. Especially after just like telling them that their attack is woeful sometimes, but good in other aspects of their game. Bloody hell! I think it'll be a good game though. Like both teams have been playing some good footy. I think Highlanders probably a bit more consistent, and I think that first round, that last minute robbery, daylight robbery, if they had got that, I think they'll be the talking point of the competition without a loss.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's going to be a tough game, but yeah.
It's all right, Piri. It's okay.
Might have just got.
It's okay.
Maybe.
It's fascinating, that quick switch. Obviously, someone's had a decent nudge, right? At the TAB, and look, I look at it, and this is an evenly matched game. Like this, like you say, when the Hurricanes get it right, they're dangerous. What the Highlanders have, they've come in, they're fit, they're well prepared. They've had some individuals step up really, really well. It's hard for some individuals though to do that. We're still young, so you got to do that every week. That's their biggest challenge, and that's what Jamie knows, that getting consistency out of guys that they've advanced through experience last year. It's okay, how do they continue to advance that this year? They've just got to keep performing well. They're incredibly well led. So, I look at this and go, I don't see anything in this whatsoever. But the Highlanders at home, and if you're riding a bit of a wave and you're feeling good about yourselves, then there's sort of times you can get on a roll. I think this will be the game we'll see whether or not they're on that roll. To confirm all the good work you've done, you've got to win your games at home. So there'll be no shortage of motivation. But the line's at 0.5. I think that's essentially, isn't it? That's what telling us this game's going to be. This is as a coin toss of taking your opportunities. But I think with where Jamie's got them right now, and they've got to have confidence, you'd expect them to go pretty well.
You're right. Line's at
I'm picking them.
0.5, total points 58.5. So bookies are saying it's a race to 30, essentially.
I think it'll be higher than that.
I do too. In the Hurricanes' favour, Piri, they do have a very good record against the Highlanders. And in fact, the Hurricanes are actually the Highlanders' third worst opponent when it comes to winning percentage. Overall, 35% win rate against the Hurricanes, Crusaders being 28.89, and the Free State Cheetahs, Highlanders never won. One game, one loss.
Did we?
Yeah. 0% win rate. Hurricanes have won 7 straight and 13 of the last 15. They've also
We're due then. We're well and truly due.
Well and truly. They've also won 3 straight at Forsyth Bar and 5 of the last 7. So a little bit of hope for you there. And I got into another rabbit hole here. This is what I do. I went and looked at your guys' records as a Hurricane versus the Highlanders versus the Hurricanes. I'll start with you, Jeff, because you're 3 from 3. Any idea what your record against the Hurricanes was?
I always thought we liked playing the Hurricanes. But those early years, we lost some games. I don't know, 50% maybe?
Close, yeah. You're 3 and 4. 3 wins, 4 losses.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I just remember Kelly and Tanner and Winjona, and they're all running down through, and, me calling touch and going, or running off and going, I got the touch judge. I got the touch judge.
I got him, guys. I got him.
I got him covered. That's not surprising, to be fair. Because Super Rugby is a bit like it is now. You talk about it right at the top of the show. It's Super Rugby, well, this is what it feels like. Is it in every week? And you got to remember the depth back then across the competition. I mean, every team was stacked.
Yeah,
stacked because all the players moved around the early years. So the idea was to get the top players, the top 75, almost were playing across 5 teams. So every team was sort of like they had at least 7, 8 All Blacks at least, across every side. So, but that's not it's respectful-ish. I'd like to have a winning record, but
any idea your record as a Hurricane against the Highlanders?
There was that game Mata charged Jimmy, and Jimmy milked it. He like put him in bin for a yellow, maybe a red. So 70%.
Yeah, 5 wins, 3 losses.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
not bad. Nice.
What about as a Blues player?
Ooh.
Lost that one down south when I fell asleep. Came back, won maybe 50%?
No. 1 win, 4 losses.
Oh. Maybe not. Wait, was Mata in the Highlanders at that time too? When I got shoulder charged and and Ali said to the ref, stop trying to kindle your relationship with Mata, please.
There has been some, speaking purely from a fan, because that's all I can do from a fan base here, there has been some epic games between the Highlanders and Hurricanes. Like really, really close. There was a period there a couple of years ago where every single game was decided by sort of 1 or 2 points. Mostly Hurricanes coming away with the win.
Yeah.
And I copped a lot of shit from mates, but some really, really good games.
I think this is what this game. I think that's what this game leads itself to.
Yeah,
it just does. Just does.
And I can't not. We're talking Highlanders Hurricanes. I can't not mention 2015. One of the greatest nights of my life. All right, Crusaders, $1.08. The Force $7. Crusaders are 19.5 point favourites. Total is 59.5. The Crusaders have won 15. That doesn't make sense. I said they won 15 of 10 all time. I think it's the other way around. They won 10 of 15 all time against the Force. They did lose last year, 37-15, but as you said earlier, Jeff, that was a completely different team. Thoughts on this one?
Because I look on, like I said before, I think the Crusaders they'll win this game. What was the line though? The line's massive. Just
19.5.
Yeah, that's probably a bit unfair. I think that's a little bit unfair. It's for the Force. I think that they're a better side than that. Like I said, I think Donaldson's one of being the key performers for them, for the Force, and they're a competitor side. They pick up some guys, the Darcy Swains of the world, who are just a bit niggly. Philip Peach plays well on the wing for them. I think the Crusaders. That's really comfortable at 19.5. So I think that the Crusaders will win this, and the interesting part for them is, like everyone's they'll be managing players in terms of there's no. We got told that there's no set plan from New Zealand Rugby around how you use your All Blacks, but you also don't want to play them every week for 80 minutes or, so if there are opportunities and the Crusaders are the one team, so for example, if they want to give Mighty Williams a break, it's George Bower who starts. So it's, they've got a little bit of room there, right? So they've got a little bit of depth. But in saying that, for a team that had a really difficult year last year, you just want to keep the momentum rolling. Do you take no chances in this one and go, you know what, we're going to play our best team again and we're into it, And to be fair, they've had a bye already, right? So everyone should be feeling pretty fresh. So just at least the Crusaders being dominant here.
Yeah. The average winning margin, I think this is maybe where the bookies get the line from, 21.3.
Yeah. But take into account the Force have been pretty good this year. Who goes to Canberra and beats up the Brumbies? Who does that? That's a good effort. That's a really good effort. I'm sticking to form. I think that's it's probably not fair on their ability.
Yep. Your thoughts on this one, Piri?
Yep.
Yep.
I think the style and the way that the Crusaders are playing, I think they'll definitely take the win here. But I feel like the Force are last year's Rebels. They've got a bit of pride to them. I know they obviously the Rebels
don't have long before they're going to get turfed.
Wow, I don't think the Force are at the moment. But it's just I feel like they've come back with a different approach to everything, and I think like Goldie said, I feel those game drivers are playing some outstanding footy to keep them in the game. But yeah, I still think the Crusaders, if they stick to what they've the style of footy that they're playing, I think they'll be too dominant for the Force.
Yep, I agree. Next one, New Zealand Derby. Chiefs $1.42. Well, they were yesterday. $1.42. Blues $2.70. Chiefs are 6.5 point favourites, and the total is 57.5. This one, if the Blues lose again, they could be in trouble. They've lost. You mentioned earlier, Jeff. They've lost Bodie, broken hand. I think Riccatelli's gone with the shoulder.
Yep.
But they do get Papali'i back.
Yep, they get Dalton back. I think, though, McKenzie might be back.
Yes.
So that's a game changer for the Chiefs.
Yep.
I think the Chiefs will look at this game and go, you know what, we need to put last week behind us and we need a bounce back performance. And if this is one of those games where I'll read a lot into it, is that I'll look at the Blues and go, well, we can keep them at arm's length and really keep them down. And you do that at home. You want to put a performance on at home. I think this will be a big one for the Chiefs. I think this runs pretty deep. I think the Blues will be, Harry Plummer, I'd say, will have to play at 10. There's no sign of Stephen Petafetta yet. I
read something that he may be back this week.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So I think, actually, I'm pretty confident he won't be back this week. So if he's not back, their first 5 options are limited. Zane Sullivan's in a moon boot still. So yeah. I find this will be really, really tough. No Hoskins to Tutu.
The hooking stocks have been decimated as well. Now that
yeah. So I think this is a really tough one. I think the Chiefs at home will be too tough. Like I say, with Damien back playing, then that's what we're hearing. Then that's the game changer. That's the shift of, okay, the favouritism clearly goes there, and they should be motivated and ready for a big one. So I think they'll be too tough.
They've only played 5 games in the last 13 at FMG. The Chiefs have won 3 of those 5.
You reckon the weather forecast will factor in this one with D-Mac back? It's supposed to be a few light showers and so.
Chiefs.
I just think there's a few guys. Who just make that much of a difference. He's one of them.
Yeah. I agree.
They're not the same team, when he's not there, but when he is there,
I think it's even like the fact that he's been in the fullback to start with most games, and then sort of in the back half of the game they push him into 10, and it's just like they've pulled him off the bench, and he's just come with all this energy, even though he's been running around
playing to the back.
Yeah,
I think that weather thing, the fact that in the first game of the season it rained at Eden Park, I think it's gave him a huge amount of confidence. Because that was the one thing, you felt in the Super Rugby final last year. The moment the rain came, it's like, well, the Chiefs can't play. They want to play. Well, the way they played the first game of the year, it's almost like they've learned and understood how you need to play against a team. So I just think all of it leads to the fact that being at home, D-Mac's back, Blues are obviously battling a bit, it leads to the Chiefs.
Alrighty.
Is there any more questions from Mr.
No more questions.
Moati?
No, we're on to, he said, review the betting.
Please don't. Goldie had a great start to the campaign.
So I've got Paul's sheet here. Wow. Is he a pretty good rugby tipster, is he? Oh, Paul Moati. He had 2 bets last week. He had Severe and O'Connor, anytime try score multi. That missed. But then he had Moana plus 12.5, Drua plus 10.5. 50 on that. That was a winner. So he is up 130 for the week, Paul Moati. He is up $862 overall for the season so far.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
He is flying.
Good on him.
Who's this? Surly. Surly lost $100. He had 2 bets last week. No good.
Perfect round. You tried to go for the perfect round?
He did try to go for the perfect round. He went
Did he?
Blues, Drua plus, Moana plus, Force plus 12.5, Reds plus 13.5. He almost got there, except the Blues. So he lost, but he is still up $600.
Don't worry about mine.
Piri Weepu. He had a right winger try scoring multi, which missed, and he had the Brumbies, the Canes, and the Reds.
Oh,
You lost.
that's going for broke. That is.
That's trying to play catch up when you've got no.
I'm just good. Yeah, nice bet. Nice work round one there, Jeff. Goldie's still up $275 for the year.
Am I?
Yep, you got to win it. You had 100 on the Chiefs head to head in round one.
Oh, there you go.
So you are up.
I'm up.
So we've got $100 the way I understand it. You've got $100 to do with what you want. I'll go first because this could be the one and only time you get a tip out of me on this podcast. I may not be back. I am slapping all 100 on a 3-leg multi. Landers head to head, Chiefs head to head, Brumbies head to head. $8.33 that's paying. I will be up $833 for the season.
Jeez.
So what's that? Hold on. Was it Highlanders?
Highlanders, Chiefs, Brumbies, all head to head.
Was that at the $2 mark, or was it no $2.25?
Could have been. What is it paying now?
Yeah, because I'm just saying. I think because I'm looking at one that's very similar.
Hang on, I'm going to do some live maths here.
Yeah, you got to do some live maths.
Someone
Head
else
to
can
heads.
go, and I'll come back with my my odds.
That's very, very good. You go, Piri. What have you got?
I'm going to put 50 on Canes head to head, Drua head to head, and Chiefs head to head. And then I'm going to pick.
You're multiing the Canes,
Yep.
Drua, and Chiefs. It's paying $11.08.
And then a meat pie from. Not that I know who's playing. That's going to be a tough one.
Wally works that out. I don't know where I got that $8 odds from. It's $3.12.
Yeah. That's what I'm sitting there going with my look, and I'm going, I'm not sure about that.
Maybe I took the margins, but anyway, I'll take the $3.12.
And I'll put 50 on the Tars, head to head. 12 and under, actually. 12 and under.
To stay undefeated.
Just exactly. Need at least one team to stay undefeated.
Tars 12 and under, $3.60. Spraying the board.
Hopefully,
all right.
Gives me a chance.
Does give you a chance, absolutely. I'm going to go pretty wide here. It's pretty similar to yours. I've got the Highlanders head to head. This is a multi. Highlanders head to head, Brumbies head to head, Chiefs, Reds, and I got the Force the point start plus 19.5. That's at $8. That's at almost $10, $8.98. So I'm going to put 50 on that. And look, I mean, any try scorer. I know we won't have the odds for that. But just 50 on Super Reece. The reality is he's just scoring tries. They're creating, using the ball to the width. I think for me, the way that they're playing, they can all pass right to left. And some players in this competition can't, Piri. So they like going that side. So
Reverse pass.
I'm just looking at it and go, no, we'll go back on the inside. No, we don't want to go outside. No. So they just use that left-hand side of the field so well. You look at Havili, Jordan, they connect really nicely on that side. They do switch that side a lot, and he's got plenty of space on the left, out on the left. So if Sevu Reece is playing, which I assume he will be, Anytime try scorer here. Generally, that's about $2. They're usually about $2.20, somewhere around there. It might be a little bit less against the Force. Would that be about right, KT? So just keep an eye on that one, even with maybe 180 or something like that. But just an easy 50 on that.
I reckon it'd be around the dollar. Given the point start, it'd probably be $1.70, $1.80
Or
top.
a little bit lower. Right.
Yeah.
So can I do an in-game multi then with two
Go for it.
anytime try scorers?
Do what you want.
Will Jordan and Severus then. Those two. Try anytime try scorers multied up, so all of a sudden I might double it,
You might get
$50 on there.
Will Jordan.
What's that?
You might get $1.50 for Will Jordan.
Yeah, but that's fine. We just do the two of them. Just to give it a little bit extra.
Beautiful. And they both.
Hey, look, I'm up. I didn't even know I was up.
$200.
I'm up. So
I'm in the rears. I'm chasing the boys.
There's always a strategy around that, Piri. You can try and incrementally catch up, or continue trying to catch up in one hit.
Yeah.
And generally, I've found that one doesn't work.
I know it doesn't, but
But what if it does?
All in or none. You're all in or nothing.
You should make a T-shirt up with that, bro, in the back of it. But what if it does?
But what if?
But what if it does? It's like my golf.
Yeah. Hey, boys, thank you very much for today. Thanks for having me. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your week, mate.
You too. You got any plans this weekend?
I am. I'm playing golf, funny enough. So
Queensland.
No, not this week.
Not this week.
So what are your odds for the weekend then? Plus minus? What are we thinking? What are we plus minus?
Off the stick, no, I'll be your third favourite in our foursome. I'm playing with two scratch golfers who are in pretty good form, and I've just been working on some swing stuff. Did go to the range yesterday though, and was absolutely flushing it. So
that's the range though.
I know that never translate.
But go to the course and then. What about you, Goldie? What are you up to this weekend other than watching Code?
Oh man, I'm down to Dunedin, so it's great. I've got Highlanders Hurricanes, so I'm looking forward to that, and then breakdown on Sunday night. So it's pretty good, pretty cruisy actually. Looking forward to it. Love a trip to Dunedin. To always head down there, and I say some great action. I think I'm engaged every year, but this year even more so. You start looking at it. It's been so even. It's been quality, right?
It's going to be a real tough one for me on Friday night, actually. I just realised with the Highlanders Hurricanes that I really want to watch, and then the Wars.
Aren't the Wars, their kick-off's a bit later, isn't it?
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. So I should be able to watch the first half.
Is it still their season?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, sorry, I just don't know.
Yeah. No, you didn't hear that? Yeah, no, it still is. Yep. And that'll do it. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the podcast.
Enough.
Paul will be back next week, hopefully, and with some form of Piri and Surly and Jeff and whoever. Cheers.